Hi, everyone. I figured I would come fashionably late. It's actually quite awkward if you start on time because then you sit here by yourself for a few minutes and then it's weird. I'll go back in the chat, but Ben, fuck you. 1 minute late. Just kidding. I love you. And Liz, welcome. The manager of Mitch Hooper, Ashley, is upstairs giving me my space at the moment. So she's tied up. All right, going up to the top. Jacob asks, who else will be on the 10 Minutes With series, or is everyone else declined? It's a partial chunk who have declined, and it's partially strongmen by nature are hard to get a hold of, sometimes unreliable, and my schedule. Those three combined make it difficult sometimes, on top of the time change and all that. But in terms of potentials, I haven't recorded anything else, but Rauno and the Stoltmans have all said yes. It's just a matter of lining up a time. I think Rauno said yes out of allegiance to the strongman royal family, which I believe, Liz, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's Rauno, me, you, Laws. And then Ivar's is like a distant cousin. I'm trying to think who else would be in that. Liz, help me out here. I'll come back to that in a minute. Hello, Jane. Hope you're doing well. Look at that. You guys just getting along, having a nice chat. How lovely. This is so much harder to do. Oh, it's Liz's birthday. No way. Happy birthday, Liz. Lovely. Happy, I believe it's your 29th. So 30 just around the corner. Very happy birthday to you. Andrew asks, what happened to Wad Pav? Through translation issues, all we know is body part, which is knee. Something with his knee. Allegedly, it's the same thing that happened at the Arnold. Allegedly, because I haven't heard that from Pavlo. I just know that it's his knee, and it was his knee at the Arnold. So it could be the same thing. Could be different, but hopefully he's all right. But that gives us Tom Evans. So maybe just as Rauno gave rise to me, which I am forever indebted, and that's why I'm so kind to Rauno, perhaps this will give rise to Tom, who can come do very well as well. My mustache is behaving a bit funny today, by the way. There's a little piece here that's a little bit not where it should be. Liz says there's definitely be at least one group with three guys who you'd expect to make the final. I guess it depends who you expect to make the final. Probably. Liz, you say your Gentle Heart won't be able to take Worlds this year. Something tells me it's just the same every single year. Like every single year, there's people going, "Oh, imagine." I guess. I mean, this is my second time around. I didn't even pay any attention to Worlds 2 years ago, but last year was sort of the same thing. Oh, this is a crazy comp. But imagine if this person was here. Imagine if Mateusz was here. Yeah. Ben. It's crazy how good Mitch is. It's arguably some of his weaker events, but still one of the favorites to win. Yeah, this really. I couldn't think of a reasonable competition that would have worse events for me, but it's sort of just the nature of the sport. The nature of being good at the sport, I suppose, is not having those things that are going to really knock you around. But there's things that are more difficult for me to go out and execute, and that's just what I have to go do. And I think if I go out and execute, then I should have a very good chance. Bronchop says Novi looks determined and huge. Novi does look huge. He looked really big. I wonder how that'll shake out for him. I hope it's not another Martins too big situation, but I think he looks good. He looks healthy. Chris says, I'm excited to see how the rookies do this year. Tom Evans at the Arnold surprised me, and Aaron Bibby in a full comp. Yeah. I mean, when we talk about Worlds and the guys who do well at Worlds and the slower pace, like something tells me Bibby needs a bit of time to recover because he's so massive. but it'll be interesting. Of the new guys, I am flagging. Tom is good, but with how heavily Stones are favored, and Tom hasn't been great on Stones the last couple of times. Matt Reg put a 200 to his shoulder the first time he tried Stone to shoulder. So he could be one of those Worlds guys who's like just overperforms at Worlds every time he goes because he's in the Stone off. But he's got to get into the Stone off. I think if Matt Reg is in the Stone off versus anyone who's not one of the top 5 guys, he's got a very good chance. But his chance of getting to the Stone off is smaller than Thomas Evans. That's what I think. But it will be interesting. The other new guys, we got Fatty, who I know quite well. He's quite a character. If you don't know much about him, go to his TikTok, which is Northside Giants, I think. But it's really funny. He loves leaning in. He's Australian, but he loves leaning into the Lebanese, Middle Eastern side, and he'll rock up to Worlds in like a full muumuu. Just it's so funny. Lovely guy, very very nice guy. Then we got Yaku, who is quite good. Did very, very well at OSG. But I think Matt and Yaku will be interesting to see if they come out of their shell a bit. I'm starting to see why Worlds is tough to perform at for some people because it's easy to let the moment get to you, I think. Yeah, I think it can be hard to not have the feeling of just happy to be here. And to be honest, I think I started to get that feeling when I made the finals, where I didn't really have that kill instinct anymore. It was more like, okay, I'm really happy with what I've done. So it certainly won't be that way this year. Ben says Tom's looking good in recent videos. Yeah, everyone's looking pretty good. Don't forget though, social media is what we allow you to see. So I don't think anyone would want to look bad at this stage. But as per usual, there'll be some over performances, some under performances, and whatever shakes out, shakes out. Sorry guys, just saying there's a lot of chatter between the two of you. Order the top 5 at Worlds: you, Tom, Brian, Alexei, Mateusz. Okay, why not? Okay. On average, with these events, genuinely, I think I could very well win the shield carry. I think I'll be very high in deadlift. I think I'll do very well in truck pull this year. That's feeling really good. Dumbbell, sort of is what it is. I won't be Alexei or Mateusz, but I had a target that I wanted to hit before Worlds, and I've hit that target. So I'm quite happy with how that's gone. So I think me, Alexei, Tom, Brian, Mateusz, I think. I am not flying out to Worlds. I'm driving to Worlds Saturday morning, 15 hours. But I want a car at Worlds so I can fly around and so I can bring my lovely apparel back home. Brown shop. Bibby would do the log ladder, same speed if it ended at 180 or 220. Speed isn't there. You know what? The funny thing is, I would think the same thing, but Bibby is really good at yoke, I think. So like it'll be interesting to see. Like he might be like a Brian. Like he will go and Z. They'll go the same speed no matter how heavy the sandbag is or how heavy the yoke is. But yeah, it'll be fun. I don't know. Bibby's probably another one I don't want in my group. I probably don't want about 25 people in my group, if I'm being completely honest. But I think best chance to win, I want the strongest group possible. Because if I could not have to deal with someone in the finals and beat them out with the heat events, that's the stronger events for me. Alex says, I haven't watched too much of Bibby, but I remember being very fast on yoke. And friend, do you think that wouldn't translate to being fast in between transitions in a ladder? Well, yoke and frame, you build momentum. So it's not speed, it's agility when it comes to that. And it's tough to be agile when you're that big, but he cartwheels. I don't know if that's going to translate, but there's certainly some capacity there for athletic movements. Thank you. Liz actually said she wanted to speak to you earlier because I was 1 minute later than promised. She said, I'd like to speak to the manager of Mitchell.
Yeah, sorry. She's off the clock. That'll be really hot food.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My manager has brought me food. Why do you think the axle press hasn't been in major comps recently? Thank you, Connor. Great question. I don't know why we're obsessed with dumbbells at the moment, but if we could get axial presses going, I would absolutely love that. I could axial press 200, no problem at all. I promise you that. So when it isn't a comp, it'll be good. It'll be very good for me. And I'm very annoyed that everyone loves dumbbell and no one's giving love to the axle at the moment. Giants needs you to deadlift axles 6 times a year, but we'll never have you press an axle. Anyway, that's my problem. Hassan asks, what's your favorite gym hype song? I've actually put that in my story yesterday. I like by Cody Johnson. Till You Can't. I like that one. And then a little bit more intense stuff for comps. Now, I'm eating in front of you out of necessity. I really don't prefer it. Stuffed chicken. It's lovely. Very hot.
Yeah, I told you.
Very hot. Braun Trap Novi always looks rough in training. He does look really rough in training. And he looks really rough in the warm-up. He looks horrible virtually every time until it comes to competition. Which, believe it or not, gets you a lot more points than being good in the gym and not in competition. So good on him. I don't know what he does, but if it's mental or what, but it's a different world. Hassan says, which athletes play the most mind games at the hotel at Worlds? The argument would be me, but I don't try. I'm just really bored. And I like to talk to people, and particularly like people who don't want to, like, okay, if I go in and there's someone who doesn't want to talk and it's literally me going in at breakfast, it's me and one person who doesn't like to talk, I'm going to go sit with them and try to talk to them the whole time. Not because I'm trying to get in their head, but because like I need to be engaged in some way. So Worlds is a big challenge for that because there's a lot of dead time. Our media day will literally be like 5 minutes of media, and then we've got the entire day, and then equipment testing day is 20 minutes of equipment testing, and then you got the whole day. So there's a lot of just sort of sitting around, and some people get nervous energy. I just get really bored energy. So yeah, I'd say me, but it's really unintentional, and there's nothing malicious that I've seen really. Who are you hoping to have in your qualifying group, and when do those get announced? They get announced the day before Worlds, so a week tomorrow. But to win Worlds, have the best chance at winning in my group, I want me, Alexei, Tom, Brian, and Mateusz, because I really like the heat events, and then we could knock 3 of those guys out and not have to deal with them in the final. That's not the reality. So the answer is I want to get through to the final with as little difficulty as possible, meaning that I don't want anyone in my group. But I'm not going to play the game of who I want most in my group because that'll insult people. But more generally speaking, since the heats at Worlds, the deadlift is a lot about speed. The loading race is about speed. The throwing is about speed and explosiveness. And the log ladder is largely about speed. Conan's wheel, endurance. So the lighter, more agile, more endurance-prone guys are going to do better. So I would be totally fine being in a group with the biggest, strongest, heaviest static guys. I think that would make your life fairly easy. And I think a lot of that happened last year, actually, if you think about it. Like the guys I was in the group with aren't particularly fast, but are strong as hell. And that's how I got through. I got through on speed, not on strength. I was strong enough and got through on that, not because I was stronger than them. Let's see. Travis says, love the new t-shirts. We'd be having Lift Heavy Pet Dog shirt. Yes. I was waiting on Tier to get these designs done. Lift Heavy Pet Dogs is coming. That's going to be a whole separate thing. It's Ash and I are starting a new business on the Lift Heavy Pet Dogs side. The challenge being, it's not a very trademarkable phrase. So how to actually make that a protected business is going to be challenging, but I think we're going to do something along the lines of making the shirts and donating a good chunk of that back to SPCA. For those who don't know, I released my shirts only to my mailing list today, which I didn't put on YouTube. So sorry if you're only on YouTube, but they'll be actually released to the public in a week's time. That's just literally a one email drop. And yeah, get on the email list if you want to find about these things in the future. But we will be doing Lift Heavy Pet Dogs. For the ones I've just released, I'm giving 20% of profits back to the strength community, which I have a whole plan around. But I'm going to talk about that when it's actually all set in order, because you guys every quarter will sort of dictate where it goes. But more to come on that later. But very excited to be able to give something back to a sport that has disproportionately given me a lot. I really didn't have to go through any sort of difficulty to get to Worlds. I didn't have to spend a lot in travel expenses going to things like OSG or Giants Lives. Well, they pay for you, but no, I didn't have to go to high-level amateur shows, international amateur shows, and bypassing that stage, and then having the luck and the fortune to be able to have really good sponsors and all of that. Yeah, it's time to give something back. So I'm excited to do that. Jane says, pulling that truck loaded with a tractor was very cool and impressive. Yeah, I thought that was quite good. My technique on truck pull has improved dramatically. I'm really quite proud of that. And it's more of a natural movement, but I'll tell you what, this elbow, it destroys the elbow because like that internal rotation. So no more truck pulling for me until Worlds. But I started with this truck and got 18 seconds for the first 5 meters. And I was working on the first 5 meters for the most part. I went from 18 seconds down to 11 seconds. If that gives you any indication of how much better I've got. For reference, last year at Worlds, I got 49 seconds. The winner got 43 seconds. And that was it felt about the same difficulty as the truck that I was pulling before I put the tractor on. Travis, welcome to the Moose Crew. Thank you very much. This the members stuff, I want them to keep building so I can do more and more members only stuff. There's a whole bunch of educational content behind the paywall. Those are the little moose thingos that you see. And yeah. Would love you guys to join. I'll pop in a link. Why don't I do that right now? But it's $5 a month, and it's really not about the money. It's more about the vote. In a free economy, we vote with our dollars, and if you like what you see, then you can vote to say, I want more of this. So here is the link getting posted in the chat right now. Appreciate you guys. If you can afford it, fantastic. If you can't, just continue watching, liking, subscribing. All that stuff helps. Interesting question. Where was it? Oh, Bronze Tops. Isn't this truck going to be much heavier as last year? It was one of the lighter Worlds trucks. People keep saying this, but if you go to, I'm going to do it right now because I was looking, I've been doing a hell of a lot of research on truck pulls and plane pull. If you go to like the plane pull, 44,000 pound plane. Okay, that's about the same weight as a bus, so it's not really that different. But let's go 2017 Worlds, the plane pull. If we go to the archives, 2017 WSM. I assume it was in the final. Yeah, plane pull. Okay, so you could say it's one of the lightest, but Alexei won it with like 42 seconds. The slowest was like 53. The plane pull in 2017, maybe it's the same argument that it's light. Mateusz won it with 40 seconds, then 41 seconds, then 42 seconds. So there would have been 3 guys who were better, faster than Alexei was last year. So doesn't really fit the argument that it was super light last year. And then the slowest guys, there's 1 guy, 2 guys who didn't finish. Otherwise, the next guy was 50 seconds, so faster than the slowest guy at this year's Worlds. To me, that shakes out sort of even. I know I'm just picking out one, but it really is not that different. Also, I believe it's a bust this year. Again, I don't really know, to be honest. But Pancho says second and third should be decided on best looking facial hair. Bobby, Mitch, and Janash are my picks. My facial hair? No way. No fucking way. I'm working very hard. I'm pulling it every night. But Gab Bilton, surely Gab Bilton beats me out by a country mile. And Alexei's, there's such a shape to it. Same with Pablo Kordiaka. Eastern Europeans, it's just so, it looks like they shave it with a hedge trimmer or something. It's so thick. I'm very jealous. Entropy says, are you the only legitimate contender for World's Strongest Man that trains in a commercial gym? Let's think. Well, Brian surely doesn't. Alexei, he looks like he trains in a school gym. They just sort of kitted out for himself. Mateusz trains in a Polish shed. Trey trains in a shed. I could be, but I mean, you can't really. I'm not going to sit on my high horse and say like, yeah, I'm doing it hard, because I'd much rather train in my gym than I would in Trey's shed or Mateusz's shed. Like, I really quite enjoy the air conditioning. I enjoy the other people around, and my gym has allowed me to do a lot of things that most commercial gyms wouldn't. Like, I got the stones in there. I don't use tacky with the stones, but I mean, at least I can go use them. I have all the kit I need. I really don't want for anything in that gym. Eventually, I will open a strongman gym, but don't have the resource is not really the issue, but time. Don't really have the time at the moment. So soon it'll come when I find a free 5 minutes. Mela says World's Strongest Man should be about strongest, not fastest. Agree? Yeah, that's why there's no 40-yard dash or 100-yard dash. But moving heavy things fast is also a feat of strength. Sway says, is there much difference between Canadian and UK clothing sizes? Yeah, UK is smaller. If you're asking about my clothing, I have the size chart listed with the clothing, so have a peek. Jane says, are you planning a big gym in your new house? We got the basement set out for a gym. Now, I hope the tax people aren't listening, because I will not lift in the basement, because I do not want to crack the foundation, because I'm not an idiot. But I will do some filming down there. So we're gonna kit out the basement so that we can do filming without the noise and distractions of the commercial gym, have really good lighting, be able to give really good instructional videos without a whole bunch of background noise and whatnot. So yes, there'll be plenty of kit down there. I actually have all the kit to open a strongman gym, all stored in warehouses and whatnot. I brought it over from Australia. So yeah. Oh, this is a good one. Chanel, can you comment on the pause situation that we saw in the Giants live comments? I absolutely can, Chanel. Pa is a lovely guy, so long as you take him as you should, which is that 99% of things with him are a joke. Ergo, that's why I commented that, because it's quite funny, and that's exactly what Paul would comment. And it's just purely banter. I was chatting to him after. There's no bad blood. I don't think I couldn't really take anything Paul said seriously, even if he was trying to be mean. I would still assume that he's trying to joke around. But no, there's absolutely nothing nefarious there. There's no rivalry. There's nothing. As much as I know you guys want there to be, but it'll happen one day. There's one strongman that I don't like, but I'll leave that for you to think about. Monica says Tango Charlie Apparel has lift heavy pet dog shirts. Yeah, there's a few companies that already do, which is why I say you can't trademark it. Like, it's already being done. It's deemed a common phrase. So we're more than welcome. Anyone's more than welcome to go do it. So that's sort of the challenge. But you could take that, you could shorten it, like I'm doing with LHPK, which I'm working on trademarking at the moment. And we could go LHPD. And then you could trademark that and sort of make a brand association. But yeah, it's not trying to take away from anyone. It's just a fun side project. And even I was trying to get the trademark for Lift Heavy Be Kind, which other people have done as well in the past. It wouldn't be as much to tell them they can't, but more so that no one could tell us that we couldn't. But anyway, we will be doing it. Pancho says we need that 10 minutes with Brian. I think everyone knows it's not happening. I did speak to him, but Brian goes 0 dark 30 LeBron James style around Worlds. Let's see. I'm just going to focus on my member questions. I posted the member link. I'm going to post the member link again. Anyone who can join, would really appreciate you joining the Mooch Crew. Just vote with your dollars to support YouTube content continue getting made. I was adding up the amounts of money for tax reasons that I've spent on putting the YouTube content out. Holy Christ, do I love you guys. It is not a cheap endeavor. Thomas asks, what's my body weight? My body weight is 320 pounds. Travis, Alexia with hair looks a lot more, without hair looks a lot more intimidating. I don't know. Alexia's such a sweetheart. It's hard for me to think of him as intimidating. Detective Wolfbot says they should put a 5-kilometer marathon. Mitchell Hooper, 10-time winner. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but yeah, I would love a 100-yard dash at Worlds, but it's just not happening. Ken Lay says, do you agree with the rule of thirds Brian talks about, where some finish well, some finish hard, and some can't finish? I do in spirit, but in practice, I'm not sure it's always possible, particularly at Worlds, where you will get sort of a broader range of what people are capable of. So I think the heats will always be a little bit more towards a lot of guys finish fairly easily. But yeah, look, it's sort of true, but it's also not true. So at Shaw, everyone finished, I think bar one finished the yoke, which was 510 kilos. But you also don't want to do a 600-kilo yoke for 25 meters and ruin the guys for the rest of the show. And I think he made that determination as well. I don't think he thought a third of guys wouldn't finish a 500-kilo yoke. So, you know, it's I really like it in spirit, so long as it works out in practice. Aaliyah, yeah. Asked if any of the Worlds guys declined to do a 10-minute interview. They did. And to be honest, they have every right to do so. There's quite a number of people who they just don't like the social media side of it. And to me, I see it as a necessary evil, if you will. But if you don't like to do the social media side, then the last thing you're going to want to do is come talk about the biggest show of the year on social media, which I totally respect. Some people, they prefer just to be athletes, and it is what it is. Yeah. Matt says, do you think Bibby is a threat this year? I don't think I'm like to win, I assume is the question. I'm not sure Bibby thinks Bibby's a threat to win this year. I could be totally wrong, but I just can't wait to see him in a full show. And I think statically, he's probably like, if you just put Bibby and Hicks in like a strongman powerlifting combo meet, they would be unbelievable and absolutely untouchable. I don't know how Bibby will go with a monster dumbbell. Maybe he'll be okay with it. I really haven't thought about Bibby in the finals events too much. Oh, it'd be interesting seeing him on a truck pull. You know what? I want Bibby in the final just to see what that's going to be like. I don't know. There's so little to go off on Bibby. Stones, he never seemed. I don't know if he can do Stones. To be honest, he always seems to drop out at Stones. Anyway, I've heard he's a lovely guy, so I can't wait to meet him. He spent quite a bit of time in Canada, so he is a teammate of sorts. Mr. the Fox, welcome to the Moose Crew. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. If you're enjoying the content, that's one of the best ways to say that you want it to continue. Monica says, I'll just buy you a Lift Heavy Pet Dog shirt. Good idea, Monica. You weren't sure if others have trademarked? No. And no one's trademarked Lift Heavy Be Kind either, but it's sort of like if it's in use by people before you trademark it, then it's hard to enforce. So it's borderline worth it. Tony wants Lift Heavy Pet Dogs as well. Cheeky question. Does the name of the strongman you don't like start with an M? No. Who would that be? Who starts with an M? I have no idea. But don't worry about that. Who cares who I like and don't like? That's completely uninteresting. Ken, Lift Vlogs Pet Dogs. That's funny. Less relatable though, because then it has to be strongman. But I really like that. Okay, Gregory. I'm a huge fan, and I'm rooting for you at every comp, but I have a hard time understanding something. You're so open about nutrition, but say discussing PDs is personal and narcissistic. No. I say dictating what other people should say to you and what other people should answer is narcissistic. Not talking. You can talk about any topic you want, and I don't think it's narcissistic, but it is narcissistic when there's a demand to talk about any individual topic. You could I was talking to my mom yesterday, and I said it's a funny thing about me. Like eating, for example. I hate eating in front of people. I think it's a pretty normal emotion. And some people would be very private about their house. And to me, I'd give you a full house tour, which I have. No problem. I would rather give you a house tour and show you every room in my house than eat in front of the camera for a full day of eating. So that's, to me, that's my line. And if that's my line, there's nothing that anyone can really say for me to go like, okay, well, I will talk about this topic or this topic. And I think it's quite rude when people insist. I'm not saying you're doing this, but when people continually insist and comment about talk about this, and sometimes you just don't want to. And if you don't want to, that should be accepted at face value. Adam, welcome to the Moose Crew. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate the vote of support. Big month to be a part of the Moose Crew. If we get a reasonable following, I'm going to do some live stuff down at Worlds, and some of that will be members only. And I'd really rather the people now join the Moose Crew. We can do a members only thing, and instead of promoting that and saying I'm doing a members only, then it's sort of a weird little sales pitch to get 10 members and make $50 or something, rather than just having a genuine conversation with people who support you. So really appreciate do it now more than later, because if I do members only stuff, I'm probably not going to talk about it all that much other than to the members. By the way, the link for the apparel is actually in the members chat. I forgot that. So if you do want to get on top of the apparel, that would be a way for you to find it. Otherwise, it's just over at the mailing list. Good question, Scott. Mr. Fox. Kind of unrelated to WSM. How would you grow the sport to a wider audience? Well, I think we have to destigmatize what the sport is about. And that's what I'm trying to do with the Lift Heavy, Be Kind mantra, because it's full of the loveliest people ever, but you would assume that it's really not. It's a safe haven for a lot of people to improve their mental health. And there's a lot of people trying to improve their mental health in strength sports rather than improve their physical health. And a lot of people just don't understand that. And they think it's about being macho and manly and lifting more than the other person. But really, I think women get more from the sport than men do. At the local level, I love seeing someone like a woman get into it, and like the difference in how they walk into the gym the first time versus 6 months later. So I think that the destigmatizing is really, really important, and just trying to make people comfortable in the community. That's really the community is what it's all about. If you think about all the fitness trends that have taken off over the last decade or so, we're talking F45, CrossFit, Orange Theory. All of these are community-based classes, right? And so if we can create a community-based strongman scene, that would be good. Now, there's also other things, like it would appeal to a wider audience if you didn't need to use tacky and you could just not ruin your clothing. It would appeal to a wider audience if the equipment was more accessible and there were more gyms and whatnot. But I think I rarely, and obviously it's a biased subset of people, I rarely see people watch strongman and go like, "Oh, didn't love it, not for me." So I think it's just a matter of like, if we get in front of more eyeballs, then great. We also can't deny the effect that personalities have on it. And Thor was massive for it. Eddie was massive for it. Their feud was massive for it. So I think the more sort of traction we could get that way, the better. Not that we want people fighting, but it was particularly useful. Brian, we got a few members now. You guys are legends. Carter and Brian and Tristan, thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Adam as well. Couple of things back behind the paywall. Like I said, please, if you're going to support, just support now, because I don't want just a random person who supports for 1 month or a couple of weeks during Worlds to come in the member stuff, because as a lot of you guys know, the casual fans sometimes it's not, they're more difficult to deal with because they don't know you that well. And you say one stupid thing and that's your whole personality. Does my head in. Andrew is in as well. Welcome. Good chunk of guys. You guys are making me happy, making my day. Thank you very much. Monica, so I shouldn't end my membership when Worlds is done. If I don't make the finals, you have carte blanche to end your membership. Then I haven't deserved it. But yeah, I mean, look, it's very close for me to have Fabian literally with me every single day. And when he is, and when we're in the new space, we're going to be able to film a whole lot. And as the membership grows, we're going to be able to have you guys dictate what that stuff is and just put it behind the member wall, whether that's more technique or education or just chatting or pillow talks or whatever it is. So we're getting there. So I really appreciate it. Aaliyah, welcome to the Moose Crew. Thank you very much, guys. A bunch of people are joining. I'm going to pop the link in here again if you want to. I really do appreciate the support. Like I said, it's just a vote of I want this content to continue. Andrew really wants me to talk about the Masters. Andrew, the reason I don't, I hesitate is because a lot of people don't like golf, but really steady performance from Jon Rahm, really sad performance by Brooks Koepka. I mean, something about the Masters, just guys crack under the pressure, and I hate to watch it because I've been there in golf tournaments leading, and I've cracked. And once you crack, it's the floodgates are open. He did well to hold himself to tied for second, to be honest. Usually when that happens, it's really hard to get your swing back. Jane said, looking forward to the documentary. I watched a 90% version done of it last night. I absolutely love it. Fabian is a legend. He's done a cracking job with it. And it's about the whole year. But when he saw the response after the Arnold, he's like a protected brother, I think. When he saw the response after the Arnold, he's like, and he loves the documentary stuff. He's like, okay, I don't think a lot of people understand what you're trying to say, particularly people who haven't seen you before. So let's do this and let's. So he's done an amazing job. Rain has helped us out with it. Big thanks to Rain. And yeah, that's dropping the day before Worlds, and it's really impactful, and it's exactly the message that I want to get across, and exactly what I want to say. So if you want the best idea of who I am, what I'm all about, what I'm trying to do, that doco is the best because Fabian's been the guy. He's been the guy with me the whole time since like 2 weeks after Worlds. I hired him, and yeah, very excited for that to be out. Ashley has been there too. Nolan, bit of Aussie in there, the doco. Some Aussie stuff has to stay. It's just better. Let's see. Wade says, since you train the stones without tacky at the gym, do you need to adjust to using it? Not really. Like, as long as it's on well. If you can do stones without tacky, even the worst tacky will feel pretty damn good. Unless you get it like completely wrong and it's greasy. A 180 stone, which I was doing stone runs ending in 180. To me, the 180 without tacky feels like a 220 with tacky. It's just miles apart in terms of like way easier. So yeah, to be honest, even if I had the option to use tacky all the time, I probably wouldn't because it's such a pain in the ass. Nathaniel, welcome. I'm glad you can catch one. I tried to give lots of notice today. Turnout's pretty good. Yeah, appreciate you guys. But 225 people, 63 likes. If we could get that like number up to like 150, that'd be awesome. I assume it does something, but I don't think it does that much. But let's work on a project together. Pancho, how many calories am I eating this week? Jeez, I'm not going to add up the week. I will tell you per day. Per day, something like 55,000, 5,500. Nothing that different. I don't do anything that different the week before comp in any facet that you guys are interested about. Because it's just, there's more to lose than there's to gain when you start changing things. Cubano, this is a good way to start a question. I know this may be a weird question, but do you think it'd be easy to convince a local gym to start adding strongman equipment? Not a weird question. Depends on your owner, and it depends what you start with. Like, every gym should have farmers, whether you're a strongman gym or not. I think a log is a pretty reasonable request of a lot of gyms. But when you're making a request to people, hedge your bets a little bit because you don't need a deadlift bar and a power bar and a Texas bar and an actual bar. And like, if you got a barbell, you got a barbell. Just be thankful you have a barbell. Farmers, log, yoke. Those things are also all in CrossFit if you want to help with that argument a bit. If you got that, you're pretty well set. Like, then you chuck in a couple of sandbags, and that's what I trained for Worlds last year with. It was really bare bones, and I got to World's Strongest Man. So I think there's more excuses than there are legitimate reasons why you can't compete, say. But if you just want to train it for fun, yeah, I think local gym owners would be happy. Also, if you really want it, like, you could get a decent log for $200 or $300. So just spend $200 or $300. Say, do you mind if I buy something for the gym? And then like they'll probably say yes. Detective Wabuff. I need to learn this name. Wabuffet. We need a petition to see more yoke this year. We need a Mateusz first, Mitchell Yokoff. So keen. I was really pissed that there was no yoke at Worlds this year. I don't know why. That would be a great opportunity. Shaw Classic. I believe there's a yoke there. Let me double check. Let me see our email from Carrie. Shaw Classic events. Oh no! There's no yoke. That sucks. Okay, we lost another yoke. Bullshit. Maybe Giants will do some car wash or something, but Mateusz probably won't do many Giants. You know what? we can a nice culmination of Mateus and I in the yoke log at the Rogue Invitational. But anyway, were you worried that the attempts at Worlds will adversely affect you, or attempts not an issue? Okay, this is one of the funniest things from last year when guys were talking about the temperature. It was hot. It was really hot last year. Apparently not as hot as the year before. But we have a tent, and the tent is like 5 degrees inside. It's freezing cold. So then we leave the tent for about 20 minutes at a time to go compete. I was more concerned about being cold than I was being hot last year. So if it's anything the same, no, there's no concern about being too hot spending 10 minutes outside. Also, as one of the lighter guys, it's easy for me to deal with heat compared to some of the others. So I don't anticipate that being much of an issue. Nathaniel, welcome to the Moose Crew. Appreciate you. Your first live and you're a member. Double favorite. I'll pop the link in there one more time for you guys. Let me see. Any other questions? Members, if you guys have questions, pop those in there. It's hard. It's really easy to lose track of a whole bunch of them here. A Tadassa says you have to have a powerlifting base to do strongman 1,000%. Not true. There's a lot of really good strongmen who haven't done powerlifting. Like I don't believe Evan Singleton has ever done powerlifting. I think he jumped straight to strongman. My powerlifting stint was like 6 months or so. It's good. Like it's certainly useful, but it's not a requirement. Particularly because you don't even go overhead in powerlifting and you need lots of overhead strength. Oh wow, Nathaniel, you're my first ever membership I bought on YouTube. Nathaniel, do we know each other, mate? I'm trying to think. You're talking like we know each other. Help me out. Okay, what interesting combo would you like to see introduced? I love the yoke log. I love the yoke log too. I wish we had more yoke logs into competitions. What combination would I like to see? I actually really like the idea, and it'd be interesting variable of something where you combine two events that require different equipment. So combine a max deadlift with a max log and say you got like 60 seconds to complete both. Then like, do you wear a suit? And then we could see like really funny guys. We could see guys trying to log press in suits, and we could see guys trying to scurry out of their suits. But I think if you combine anything, it'd be really interesting. Like, I think we should do more of it. Combine loading medley with log. Combine yoke with you couldn't really combine anything with stones, I guess. Or unless it was a natural stone. But I think what they did at Europe's was interesting. But I think could be done slightly better. So when they had the objects loaded into the wheelbarrow, imagine if it was like farmers or a yoke and you had to carry it to an implement, put the implement on, carry it to the next implement, put the implement on. I think that would be really interesting. But yeah. Oh, right. Right. Nathan is the ASA president. I'm headed out to Alberta for sounds like a really cool event out there. So more to come on that. But I thought you were speaking like I knew you. Makes sense. Carter says yoke into deadlift for reps. That would turn into a lot of injuries, I think. So maybe not that one. But maybe like I like the back and forth stuff they do at local shows. Maybe you could do like a yoke 5 meters into a log, the yoke 5 meters into a deadlift, and you just sort of like ping pong back and forth. We're in Alberta. Great question. Nathaniel, could you answer Bronze Up where in Alberta we're going? Also, Bronze Up, could you explain to me why you get banned from Reddit? I'm. You must be doing something nefarious in a different sub or something. Joe, just watched your podcast with Colin. Enjoyed you blowing his mind with your with your wisdom. Colin, I love talking to Colin. Colin's a classic. But I find Colin and I are very often on different wavelengths. And I'm not sure. Again, I said this to Colin himself. Colin could be the smartest person on the planet or like an IQ of 90. And I would not be surprised. There's about 100-point span of IQ that'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Brent, welcome to the Moose Crew. I appreciate you. There you go. Edmonton.
July 28th to 30.
Yeah, the organizer's on here.
Yeah,
He's answering the questions.
I just found it. Got a nice booty pic of you on there too.
Colin is on 9. Mitch is a steady 5. What does that mean? Yeah, nice. Oh, someone's getting into your account and deleting it. And they deleted YouTube. Yeah, I noticed because you're Bronze Chop 1 now. Yeah. Nathaniel says, hello, Mrs. Hooper. This is the guy who organized the thing in Alberta. Hello, Mrs. Hooper. Thank you for letting us borrow Mitchell in July.
You're welcome.
There you go. Lady of few words. Will you guys be available for picks even if a fan does not have VIP? I know it's a busy few days for you guys. I will be available for any pictures that anyone wants. That is a 100% policy. If you ever see me anywhere and want to take a picture or say hello or whatever, I don't understand people who don't really appreciate that. You guys are the people who we do it for. In essence, you're the reason that we're doing it. So yes, anytime you see me, unless I'm like literally going to do an event and I can't, pictures, autographs, whatever, song and dance, more than happy to help out. I'll also be at the tier booth on like a actual official. I'll be there at that time. Otherwise, you catch us going back and forth all the time. Yeah. Now there are very finite times. Please just understand if you're going to Worlds, just understand us. And one of the things that I like to do before every single event is just go around and like look at the area, look at the comp, see if there's any, like see if the floor looks any different, see if the bars, there's any inconsistency in the bars, or if the logs are any different or rough, and I'll like try to put headphones on because like it's really odd. Like people are shouting at you to come over to them and like you're trying to like look at something and focus on something. So that's sort of the only time it's sort of you'll get ignored. But it's certainly nothing that we want to do. And every single guy will be more than happy to take pictures, sign. It's probably the best part of being a fan of this sport is that we are super accessible. All right, I'm on for another minute or so. Any members who have questions or anyone who wants to super chat, I'm going to answer those. Otherwise, I'm going to leave you guys to your evenings. Happy Easter Monday for those who celebrate Easter, which I assume is virtually everyone because it's mostly people from the UK, North America, and Australia. I believe it is Ramadan right now, if you're not from those areas. So it is. So happy Ramadan if you are from those areas. True, it's Tuesday in Australia, so it's not. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Ben up. Mitch, if you win WSM, promise you won't say, I'm not sure it means much. The people who work for me have begged me. Oh, it's also Passover. They have begged me to make a shirt that says doesn't mean much. If there was a doesn't mean much shirt, who would buy it? Like it doesn't mean much and like maybe my face or something. Or just a stepping stone could be another one. Anything stupid I say, I'm happy to put on a shirt. We got a couple definite buyers. All right, guys. Thank you so much. We'll catch you very soon. I'll be doing some live stuff, some members only live stuff during Worlds. If you're one of those people who follows me and wants to be on those members only lives, jump into the membership side. Again, $5. It literally just have a smaller private community. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate you and take care.